What's up, guys? It is Ben with 2020 election predictions, and today I'm going to talk all about the presidential debate that I'm sure all of y'all watched last night. I know some people are saying that Biden definitely won. Some people say it was a tie. Some people say that Chris Wallace, the moderator, won, and even some people are saying that Trump won. I saw a Telemundo poll that had him winning, and some of these online polls did have Trump winning, which definitely surprised me. But let me tell you who I think won and then what I think we should use as a marker to say who won. So just right off the bat, I think that Trump was definitely overly aggressive and kind of coming after Biden. I think in 2016, kind of his more aggressive macho man. I think that worked versus Hillary Clinton. Biden, on the other hand, I really don't think it was as effective, and I think Trump came out of the gates just too aggressive, too much with the personal attacks. And I think we can see this mostly reflected in the change of the betting odds. The betting odds have changed tremendously. This is the largest one-day change that we have seen ever in the betting odds for this presidential election cycle. So before the debate, we were right about at around a 10-point difference. Now we're at about an 18-point difference. So that is an 8-point shift. And I mean, even when we have news story after news story, whether it's Trump's tax returns or Trump's comments on the military or kind of the violence happening around the country, we never saw kind of a single day change in the betting odds as much as we saw yesterday to the debate, and we can see that evidenced by a kind of a straight line up for Biden and a straight line down for Trump. Trump gradually his betting odds did improve as kind of he stabilized in the polls, and this was kind of when the protests were lasting a while, and you could tell with the polls that people were kind of tiring and fatiguing kind of the Black Lives Matter movement. But I think this debate, personally, I don't think either candidate did that well. However, I think Biden outperformed expectations definitely. I think Trump probably had a below average performance. I think Biden had an average performance, but I think most people were expecting Biden to do very poorly. Biden is a gaffe machine. He did have a couple of gaffes last night, but I think not as many as people thought. And I think that's why we see kind of this big dramatic shift in the betting odds. And I don't think we're going to see kind of any reaction in the polls until much later. And I doubt that there's going to be a ton of movement in the polls. I think this was kind of Trump's one chance to maybe change the trajectory of the race. Biden's lead, especially kind of in the Rust Belt states, has been pretty constant. We've seen changes in like North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, and even Arizona. But consistently, Biden has held a pretty constant lead in the Rust Belt, and I don't think Trump did anything in this debate to maybe sway voters to his side. And I saw many people on the left and on the right saying that they don't think that this debate is changing any minds. And what I was actually surprised is apparently viewership was down from 2016. And I don't expect as many people to watch the second and third debates just because I think people were just so disappointed at kind of the bickering, the coming at it, the coming after each other, the personal insults, and the interrupting, which definitely happened from both sides. I personally think that Chris Wallace did the best possible job he could. I mean, it is almost an impossible situation to moderate these two people who, I mean, just are very unpredictable and definitely, I would say, are maybe not in their prime. But I think that Chris Wallace did the best possible job he could. So I think that mainly we should look at the betting odds and then in any shift in the polls. I mean, pundits are going to go either way, and I definitely think that kind of the mainstream media outlets tend to be more left wing. So we definitely want to be suspicious of what they say. But money talks, and where people are putting their money, I think we can definitely say that this was a win for Biden just because of where the money is going. More people think that Biden's going to win after this debate than they did before, and this is represented in the betting odds. one article that I saw from CNN, and I don't always trust CNN, especially their opinion section, but the title was Trump's allies offer public praise but privately worry after the debate. And this is something that I've heard from more of my conservative Trump supporting friends. They don't think that Trump had a good debate. They think he came out kind of just too much coming after Biden, and they said that they would actually prefer to have actually Biden speak more because then the focus will be more on Biden. The biggest story that I think we're going to see coming out of the debate is Trump's failure to concretely and definitely condemn white supremacy and the Proud Boys. This is something that I didn't really pick up on right after I finished it, just because I mean there was a lot of things going on in the debate. But I don't think people are going to be talking about healthcare, the Supreme Court, the environment. I think they're going to mainly be talking about kind of the personal insults being thrown at each other, and then especially I think we're going to see a lot of focus on how Trump kind of deals with those comments that he made, because he didn't just flatly condemn white supremacists, and I think that's something that he's going to need to do. And I think that a lot of Trump's allies are a little frustrated that he didn't do so. I think I saw Tim Scott saying that Trump misspoke, but he needs to clarify his comments or he didn't misspeak. So I think that's something that we're going to be looking forward to the rest of the day. I mean, obviously the polls haven't changed yet, and I don't really think about the polls on who people think won the debate really matters, but I really think that just after we're just kind of looking at this one data point, I think seeing how the betting odds dramatically changed after is what we should look at right now. So I think definitely Trump has an uphill battle, probably more than he did before. I don't think that the debates are going to be kind of a huge turning point like Trump maybe thought it was. Maybe like Trump's allies thought he was. I mean, Biden had a pretty good performance compared to maybe where his expectations were. I mean, not great, but I think better than his very low expectations. So going forward, I definitely want to look closely at the second and third debate, but I frankly don't think they're going to matter as much as this first debate that has already happened. So I think definitely Trump has lost a chance maybe to kind of change the trajectory of this race. But we still have over a month until the election, the biggest month of October. In 2016, there was Access Hollywood. There was the Comey letter. So I'm sure, especially with 2020, with what has already happened, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of October surprises that might change the course of the race. So I really hope that y'all like this video. Please subscribe here if you haven't already, and please comment on what you thought of this debate and maybe what each candidate should try to do going forward in future debates. So thanks, guys, and be on the lookout for a new video tomorrow.